Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Movies from the Core. I decided to do The Town. Came out 2010. It's a rated R. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes. Excuse me. The premise of this film is it follows four friends who are bank robbers, and they're born and bred in Charlestown. So yes, for you who don't know, it is centered in Boston. The cast list is extensive. You have Ben Affleck, who plays Doug McRae. You have Rebecca Hall, who plays Claire Kesey. You have Jeremy Renner, who plays James Coughlin, nicknamed Jem in the film. You have Blake Lively, who plays Krista Coughlin, his sister. You have Chris Cooper, who plays Stephen McRae, obviously Doug's father. And then we have John Hamm, who plays Detective Adam Frawley. Now, the whole film starts off with Jem and Doug and their two buddies robbing a bank. And conveniently enough, it's the bank where Claire works at. And some shit happens and Jem decides, hey, let's grab a hostage. Well, conveniently it's Claire. Well, we end up getting, actually, in the scene that they grab Claire, we have a little cameo from Victor Garber. And so we jump, another scene, and we end up going to where she's being interviewed by Detective Frawley. And then we jump to another scene, and you got all four of the guys together, and Jem realizes, because he took her license, that she lives where they live. And so he's like, I want to make sure that she's scared. I want to make sure that she's not going to give us up. And so Doug's kind of like the mastermind. He's the architect behind all the robberies. So he's telling Jem, he goes, we don't take hostages. You already messed it up. Let me take care of this. And it ends up backfiring on Doug because he ends up falling in love with her. Now, I'm telling you guys all this because that is the giant premise of the movie. There's so many side stories going on in this. You have the relationship between Jem and Doug. You have the obsession that Frawley has over Doug. You have the relationship between Doug and Claire. You also have the relationship between Doug and Krista, because Krista has a daughter named Shy, and she thinks that Doug's the father. And Doug just wants to get out of Boston. He doesn't want to deal with this anymore. He wants a new life. And can you blame him? I mean, his dad's in prison. You find out later about his mom. And it's a roller coaster ride for what Doug has dealt with. And now this movie is also directed by Ben Affleck and written by him. So he tried to make it as authentic as he could, because if a lot of you don't know, Ben Affleck is actually from Massachusetts. And all of their Boston accents are authentic, or at least I think that they are. And there isn't a scene, in this film that doesn't grab you. And in this film they end up robbing Fenway Park. And if you don't know Boston, Fenway Park is one of the biggest monuments, in the city. So for you to rob that, it definitely grabs people's attention. Now, IMDb gives it a 7.5 out of 10. I give it a 5 out of 5 because even though it's 2 hours and 5 minutes, every scene is captivating. Every situation, you want to see what happens. Every person in this film, you worry about, you want to see what happens to them. That's just how good the writing was. It really grabs you. Now, sadly, there is no place that this is streaming, so you're going to have to end up purchasing it off of any streaming platform. But if you've seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't, give it a watch and let me know what you think. Because I think this is probably one of the best bank robber films that's come out, I don't know, in a very long time. But give it a watch, let me know.